All right. Welcome everybody to today's Thursday training. My name is Christina Amon. I'm so happy to be your guide on this journey today. Let's just take a deep breath for starters and just kind of ground in and shake off or let go or let it wash off anything from earlier in your day that just needs to let go so we can collect ourselves and really just be present here in this moment. All right. So I want to thank all of you for being here and taking the time to invest in yourselves and your business. Our time is precious, and I'm really planning to make the most of our time together here. Got my notes. Let me set that up. So the first thing I want to talk about, and you'll probably have heard plenty of this already, and a big part of this business is repetition. Like, you hear things over and over, and it's funny how you'll hear something 6 times and that 7th time it'll just click, right? Drop a 2 in the comments if you've had that experience where you're just like, you hear something and it feels like you're hearing it for the first time, but you've heard it a ton of times, but it just finally makes sense. It finally drops in, and maybe it becomes part of your embodied experience for the first time, or suddenly it makes sense for you and it felt more of like something that made sense for other people previously. So, you know, a lot of this we hear from Leslie about seasonal training, and everything I've been hearing about it, it's just resonating so much. Yeah, and welcome to all the new people. Drop a 3 in the comments if you've joined us in the last month. I just want to really welcome all the new people. We are gearing up for typically the biggest season of the year. The holiday season is, if you play your cards right, can be such a powerful season, right? Everybody wants to look better, feel better, make more money, have a really wonderful holiday season, have abundance for the holidays, be connected, just really, it's such a, it's sort of a climax of the year, right? And what we do now in the month of September is what plays out during the holiday season. So that's why there's so much emphasis right now on really committing and catching hold of making the most of this. Like, why wouldn't you want to leverage the most potent season of the year, which is looking to be Purium's most potent season ever, right? That's what everybody's saying. That's what all the sort of data and everything is pointing to, is that we're gearing up to be like the biggest wave we've ever ridden. Somebody dropped me a good reason. Why wouldn't you want to leverage that? Why wouldn't you want to be part of that, right? No answers. There's no good reason why you wouldn't want to be a part of that. But subconsciously, we can all think of reasons why we're not showing up for our business. So the idea is to leverage and make a really abundant harvest this holiday season, is to plant a very, very intentional, focused garden right now, which takes work, right? What's that Maya Angelou quote? Like, nothing works if you don't. So simple. And so the first step is realizing that you want to make the commitment, that you're declaring, and you're hearing about this. There's a link where you can declare to actually, it's this formula, it's part of the system where you can declare your monthly rank and where you want to be by the end of 2021. Pretty historic year. So again, I was just starting to mention, we could all come up with reasons why we're not, and subconsciously those things are playing out for you. If you have felt yourself in a lull, if you felt yourself pulled back, if you felt yourself 1 foot in and 1 foot out, if you felt yourself just kind of not doing the things, maybe you're coming to training calls, but not really doing the things, or your numbers aren't growing in your business, it's because we're running tapes inside of our heads of reasons why we're not leveraging this momentum, but it's subconscious. So if you want to override that, you have to look at, you have to identify what tape's playing, what's getting in there. Like, we could all come up with excuses of why we can't do our business. And I'll be really vulnerable right now and share that I've been up for the past 2 nights on the phone with people in Sweden, where my father just totally spontaneously ended up in the hospital and just completed open heart surgery during the night. The times are opposite there. I could have easily made that an excuse. So I've been, I mean, up until half an hour before this call, I've been waiting to hear news that he made it through surgery, you know, like, and I'm a daddy's girl, like, I'm not ready to lose him, but that's like where my consciousness has been. I could have easily said, I can't do this call, you know, and I had that thought cross my mind. Like, I thought about reaching out to the other leaders and saying, hey, you guys, like, I'm going through this really big deal. I need somebody to cover for me, but that's not what came through me. What came through me was to stay anchored in my business, was to let my business ground me, was to allow the consistency of showing up for my commitment to be here. Like, I committed to that, being here on this call and trusting that process. That's what came through me, was like, show up anyway. And I was even going through thoughts like, what if I wake up and I get the call, like, he didn't make it through surgery? And then I was like, no, this training's coming, like, and that would give me hope too, knowing that I was going to be here on this call and being able to tell you he made it through surgery. He's asleep now, and I'm going to get to hear the details. That got me through. And so when we allow our business to be an anchor, when we allow ourselves to show up in that consistency, even in the hardest effing times, and believe me, these times are hard. Like, life is really overwhelming for most people. If anybody here is not overwhelmed, let me know. We could always come up with reasons why we can't show up for our business. Believe me, there's no lack of them. But the ones who make it to the top of this pay plan are the ones who show up anyway. Now, I'm not talking about burning yourself out or compromising or, you know, being like insane about it. The key is take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself and lean in. Because I'm safe right here. I'm safe with all of you. I can show up for this. I can bring my authenticity of what's actually coming through and what I'm experiencing right now into my business. That's such a beautiful thing. Drop a 6 if you just love that about this business. You don't have to fragmentize your life. If you're in pain, you bring it right in. If you're in, you know, going through struggle, bring it in. And I can tell you, the people who get so overwhelmed by the overwhelming things of life that they're like, oh, I just got to stop my business for a month or 6 months, or it's just harder. No judgment. Everybody has to do what they have to do. But believe me, they know it's harder to get back in the swing of things and really easy to quit at that point. So you decide. This is where we make the commitment. Like, you decide. What do you really want to get out of this? Are you committed to creating financial success? Drop an 8 if that's you. If you are, and like, I mean it, like, really, like, do you feel that commitment to your financial success, that you're going to show up for the action steps consistently? You know, not full time. We're not being crazy here. Part-time hours. It's just showing up something every day, or if you have to take a few days off, you know, organizing that. But when you feel committed to your financial success, you are going to find a way to push through those fears. You are going to find a way to push through that struggle, to show up anyway, to actually use it to your advantage. Like, let it work for you. It's your superpower. It's not an excuse. Turn it into your reason why you're showing up. You know, like, my whole why's expanded. I want to have the financial abundance and security and potential to fly anywhere in the world I need to go if I need to take care of my parents. And between me and my husband, we have a lot of parents. we made a joke like, hey, we've been working on building this permaculture farm, but like, let's just maybe like build a geriatric facility, an off-grid geriatric facility, and like we'll benefit from it eventually, like moving a little slow. So maybe we'll just like cut ahead, and a lot of people are going to anyway. So just weave it in, So drop a 10 if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like what I'm talking about is just consolidate your whole life and let it just be your journey. It's all here for you. Okay. So take good care of yourself for sure. Wrap all that struggle and leaning in. It's hard work. It's really hard. Just acknowledge, like, we're here to do hard work. Package it in a bundle of self-care. That's what we have the possibility for. So everybody drop your commitments in the comments. What's your monthly goal this month? Where do you want to be at the end of December? Okay. Monthly goal this month. Where do you want to be at the end of December if you're committed? Okay. I haven't really been checking the comments too much, but thank you for being active there. I love it. Oh, thank you, Isabel. I love you too. Yep. That's it. The vulnerability and the commitment. So we're making our commitments and we're going to get to work. So the key is, and that's why you're seeing the company is rolling out this whole formula. It's all here for us. It's a plug and play system. They have if you haven't already gone on the corporate link, maybe somebody can drop that in the comments, where you declare your ranks monthly and end of the year. And then you create a plan. Okay. So what's the plan? If you're running for Diamond this year, which you should be, right? So the plug and play system is Diamond Dash. If you're not already, like, if that's not already on your front consciousness, like, my whole fall season is all about Diamond Dash, whether you're running for Diamond for the first time, whether you're running for a colored diamond, whether it's this month or another month before the end of the year, or you're helping people get to those ranks. Make it happen now. That is the whole thing. Diamond Dash. That's the whole focus. So putting together a plan for that. This includes mapping out your diamond run. And I'm going to do a really brief little mapping session. But get with your upline for a more extensive one. And it involves, and then it involves like other tools. Do you have an accountability group that you're working with? Do you have an accountability partner that you're bouncing back and forth of, like letting each other know, like, hey, I did a prospecting time block today. I reached out to 10 people, texting each other, letting each other know you're staying on track. Because again, those little tapes that play subconsciously that tell us our excuses or reasons not to do our business can become very loud if we're not paying attention. We're just using the action to override them. So accountability partners and groups can be really helpful for that. My team is putting together, we're like getting proactive. We're like, all right, getting to work here, getting to action. Like, we're ready to, because here's the thing. If you don't make that commitment and get into action now, if you do, let me put it positively, if you do, you have a really long runway to run and launch to be where you want to be for the holidays, right? Big, big, big season. You want to be on it. If you start in November, like your runway is so short. You can picture a bird like trying to like take off on a short little runway. Like, it doesn't happen. And then you're like, oh, well, and then you start telling yourself like, oh, like holidays are really hard to build business in, right? Because it didn't work for you, right? And then you start to spin that story. So it's like a whole spiral thing. If you start now and be like, okay, I see the holiday, I got a big long runway, and I'm going to get to work now, filling my funnel now, taking action now, getting on my mini marathon now, filling my tracker sheet now, all of that, you get to really take advantage of that whole long runway. And then it actually happens, and it's super fun, and it feels super good, and it's celebratory at the holiday season. So that's what we want. So back to the mapping. Essentially, if you're going for Diamond, you want to map it out. And what you're looking at is you take yourself as Diamond and the amount of points that is, and the structure of Diamond. So Diamond is 15,000 points, and it's 3 consultant legs. So you can draw it. Maybe it's a pyramid, right? Pyramids are beautiful. We can reclaim that word. We can reclaim that sacred geometry from the ones who don't understand. It can be a pyramid. I actually draw mandalas myself. I put my rank in the middle, and then I have like, petals coming off of for all my legs. And then from all of them, they have their petals coming off. So whatever shape you want to do your map with, whatever works for you. Some people just do a list. I just get bored with lists, so I like shapes. But whatever works for you, the point is you're going to do your points and your structure legs. So if you have 3 consultant legs, somebody drop in the comments, how many points of your 15,000 points is that getting you? $3,000. Thank you, Erica. Shine. Yes. So that's if you get a minimum of 3 consultants, that's 3,000 out of your 15,000. 12,000 is still a lot of points to get on your own. So ideally, you have a director, you have an executive, right? So now you're starting to see how the math works. And now an executive is going to be 6,000 points. When I hit diamond, I had 2 executives. That's nice, right? They took care of 12,000 of my whole points on their runs, and I was helping them, right? All this teamwork. We had a ton of fun on my diamond run, tons of fun. That was like a super fun month. And it just felt like it was just happening because I created all this momentum. Guess what? 3 months before, I had enrolled tons of brand partners, and 3 months later, I harvest a diamond. Really fun, really easy. I mean, easy, it's hard work, you're showing up, but it wasn't stressful or agonizing, which I have had those kinds of runs too. It's all part of it. It's all part of the initiation. So 15,000 points, there's going to be different permutations. If you have brand partners who are running with you and you know that they're running for executive, you can put them in your map. All right, George is running for executive. That's going to be 6,000 points. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. And then you're going to map out George's executive run. Okay, where is that coming from? He needs, a certain amount of active enrollees. And are they going to be customers? Are they going to be brand partners? So you start to see how the map is. If you're brand new or you've just been sharing with customers and you don't have any brand partners running with you, then you're sort of imagining their spaces. And that's powerful. Visualize. Okay, here's my unnamed brand partner who's coming onto my team and hitting Fast Start Executive in 2 weeks, which many people are doing. Totally possible. There's people on this call, Jillian, executive in 2 weeks. Fast Start, triple ranked executive, probably didn't even know what she was doing. It's okay. With good mentorship, that can happen. So, thank you, Shine. So that's your map. That's giving you a little bit of a concept of a map, right? Because we can get we can pump ourselves up. We can get into the mind. Yeah, I'm going for it. But if we don't have like a map, it can just be like a lot of talk, right? You're excited. The talk is real. I mean, the excitement's real. The feeling is real. But if you don't have a map, then all of a sudden you get 2 weeks and you're like, oh, what happened? I was so excited. I thought that was going to work, right? It's not enough. You need to have the map, you need to have the plan, and then you need to have that daily consistent action. And your upline are going to help you with this. You don't have to hold it by yourself. We're all here to hold it with you, to remind you. Believe me, I didn't know what I was doing in this business for like 2 years, probably. It doesn't have to take you that long to not know what you're doing. But it also works. Ignorance on fire, being excited and just being why it worked is because I was coachable. I was like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I did whatever they told me. Even if it was hard, then I knew especially how to do it. Being coachable, consistent, and committed. I was all of those, even if I didn't know what I was doing. So that works too. But it was a lot more empowering once I figured it out. So from start to finish, I hit diamond in 5 months. Everybody's journey is different. None of it really means anything. Then I flattened out for 2 years. So it is what it is. You can be more proactive with your journey by figuring out what's happening. But everybody's different. The key when I figured it out was I got in the back office. So if you're wondering like how it took me that long, I just never the back office intimidated me. I didn't get into it and get behind it and understand how that's the portal for how to communicate with people. And once I did, I was like, oh, and then guess what? I finally re-ranked diamond for the first time in 2 years, almost 2 years, and then ranked green diamond, and then just continued to climb up after that. Okay. Deep breath. So in this business, we work backwards to get ahead. So you create your goal, and then you create the map working backwards of how to get ahead to that goal. Does that make sense? So get with your upline, have a mapping appointment if you haven't already done that. And then like I have a whiteboard, you can use different ways of like keeping it there and really staying present with it. There's probably a lot more I could say about mapping, but I want to get to a lot of other things in this call. So just get with your people. And then it's just about putting in the building blocks into that map. So what fits into that map? Go ahead and put it in the comments. What are the key building blocks to building this business? Start with the free points, UBT, right? If you want to triple rank, you're hitting UBT, guaranteed. And you're doing your fast start, widen your reach free points. You're taking advantage of 400 free points in your first 10 days and up to 500, sometimes more, depending on the month, free points for the month. Widen your reach if you're in your fast start window. So if you're looking to like really advance quickly, you're not leaving any free points on the table. Like you're taking all of those. If you don't take all of them, you just have to make it up in another way. So it's a little harder. You know, you have to enroll more people. That's okay too. If that's your path, that's okay too. But if you're really looking to get ahead, and believe me, it's easier to advance quickly. It's like way more easier on the you know, the insecurities come in more easily when we're moving slow, or they can, I should say they can. Fast start window is 10 days for consultant, 1+ months for director, meaning like you have the rest of, if you enrolled today, you have the rest of this month plus all of next month to hit fast start director, 2+ for executive, 3+ for diamond. And you get to get free fast start points for that whole time that you're in that fast start window. And all of those free fast start points you're getting are going up to all of your upline. So it's a service too. When you're getting those, when you're like uploading that 33-point video, you're benefiting multiple people. You're helping out. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're like, oh, do I do it? I don't want to do it. Like, it's going to help you and it's going to help so many other people. So we really help each other out in this. And it's really how you grow your business, by showing up online, having tons of exposures, exposing your whole audience, and growing your following by being consistent on social media. Okay, customer widen your reach. Drop a 6 in the comments if you are actively getting widen your reach, free widen your reach points from getting customers to post. So if you're brand new, let me see if my brand new brand partner's on here. If you're brand new and you've signed up a customer, they can post a picture. You can even send them the picture of like a scoop of power shake or whatever, like a product thing, and say something about how the products have impacted them, or if they're brand new, how they're excited about it, and you get free points and they get $10 off. Win-win. So you can really leverage that for more free points. And then helping people. And then so as we're doing what are the building blocks of this map to get you where you want to go? We've got all the different ways to get free points, and then helping people hit fast start. So helping people hit fast start is the easiest way to grow because they have that momentum. It's exciting. It's fun. They're getting, you know, their investment covered quickly. Their belief is growing, right? And that will tend to duplicate. So now they have like a fast start culture coming onto your team just by helping one person hit fast start. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about these building blocks is leading with the business, to me, is a key building block to filling out your map. So the map is sort of the empty things, and to fill it out with points, these are the building blocks for that. Finding brand partners, leading with the business, which is simply leading with, sharing your why, and asking other people what their why is. That's all it is. Leading with a business is just sharing your why and getting other people talking about their why. Period. End of story. That's it. Your core values, what you believe in, what kind of life you're creating for yourself, what kind of life you want to see happen on this earth in these times, what kind of community you want to see rise up. All of those things are your why, and it helps people relate to you if they have the same why. And then when you're individually in conversation, getting other people talking about their why. That's leading with a business. Okay. Those are the building blocks. And now I'm going to get on to the last half hour of the call, kind of like what I named this training, which is curating conversation. So we're going to get into, take a breath, any questions? Yes, Daniela, I believe people still get the widen your reach. Oh yeah, and people still get bonuses if they didn't make the first, if you didn't hit Fast Start Consultant, you still get Fast Start Director, absolutely. And all the other ones, and you still get widen your reach points in that whole window. Okay. All right, so language. I love language, I love communication, I love words, I love the sound vibration of being in conversation with people. I love opening our voices and talking. I love listening deeply, hearing what people are saying, hearing what they're not saying, reflecting it back to them, asking questions. I love all that. To me, that's the essence of this business, is this human heart-to-heart language exchange. I didn't come into this business with really great skills at that. I actually have worked really hard at developing those skills, or really gently, whatever you want to call it. I've worked focused to develop those skills. So if you're like, noticing where you don't have as much skill, or you look at other people like, oh, that's so, comes so easy for them. People always tell me, oh my gosh, you said that so well, that came so easy to you. I've just practiced a lot. I've developed fluency in the social sharing economy. I've developed fluency in Purium language. I've developed fluency in telling my story. And when we develop that fluency, it just comes so naturally. It just rolls off our tongue. It's joyful. It's joyful to share. It's joyful to listen to other people and ask the kinds of questions that feel good to them to then share and answer about. And it doesn't have to be this like sticky, icky, like MLM-y thing, right? So drop a 7 if that's what you want. If you're here to like develop fluency and posture, language and posture that helps you like have those kinds of connections with people. And you'll see like the top leaders on this team have developed those skills and the belief in themselves and in this process to be able to do that. Mary Beth, Rita, Carrie, Erica, Leah, Rachel, I don't know who's on the call, but Rachel and Ashley and Tala, all these people have like really beautiful communication skills. Some people came into it with it. Great, awesome. Some of us, like myself, have to develop it. So it's all here for us. So I want to give you a few subtleties and nuances that I've learned over the years. And the first one I'm going to talk about is welcoming etiquette. So you've just signed on a new brand partner, and you're going to welcome them to the Facebook business support group. Hang on one second here. Okay. Okay. So you're welcoming someone to the Facebook support page. And I want you to imagine that it's like bringing them to a party, right? We've all been partying for years here. We're all so comfortable, we love our community, and you're bringing a brand new person into this scene. So if you bring a brand new person to a party, you walk through the door with them, and you're going to turn to them, you're going to like kind of keep them under your wing if you're a good host or a good, guest who's bringing another guest, and really just, really be present to support them and feeling comfortable and welcoming them and introducing them to people. So what you're going to do is, maybe you turn and you sort of see the first person, or actually you're going to turn to them first and say, hey, I'm excited to bring you to this house. This is my, this is my friend Adrian's house, and we're going to have a really good time together. She's got a beautiful home. I'm going to like walk you around and kind of show you. So you're talking to your friend. Thanks, sweetie. Did you get Uriel's message? He needs his iPad delivered to school. Oh, thanks. So you are looking at your friend, you're talking to them. So you're saying, I am introducing you to this house, and you're going to tell them some things about what to expect. You're not going to bring your friend in the door, your friend Mary in the door, and just shout out, hey, everybody, hey, Bliss Ohana, hey, Superfood Social, I want to introduce you to my friend, right? That's like, ooh, all attention on her all of a sudden, like that's a little much. I think you're gonna introduce her to the party and then gradually introduce her to people. So the difference that this looks like in a post is, hey, Mary, I really want to introduce you to our business support community. I think you'll really enjoy the community here. You're going to find accountability, a lot of celebration culture. We have this incredible leadership team that's, doing our trainings, and I'm so happy to see you here. You're an incredible networker and an amazing mom and a dear friend. And I'm really excited to see you, grab hold of this and really rise in your goals here. So that's really different than like, hey, Superfood Social, please welcome, right? You're not talking to Superfood Social, you're talking to your friend when you introduce them in a post. It's a subtlety, like it could just be nitpicky. If it is for you, take it or leave it. I'm not telling anyone what to do. This is just how I was trained when I came in. And it makes a lot of sense to me that when I was new and I see a post saying, hey, Christina, I'm posting a picture of you here because I'm welcoming you, and they're talking directly to me, I feel a little bit more seen and cared for, instead of like, oh my gosh, I'm just plastered here and now everybody just got, asked to look at me. I mean, it's like I said, it's subtle, but okay, cool. So Camille's getting it. Drop a 9 if you're getting it. It's a subtle difference, but it's all about how that person is feeling as they're coming into something very new, potentially overwhelming. We're trying to, eliminate feelings of overwhelm and really help people feel at home and welcome and comfortable and seen. So with that, I just want to name another thing, which is being just really aware of language, terms, concepts that are accessible to many. And it's a growth, like we might not be aware that certain words or terms are exclusive. And so just taking the time to learn that. One thing I've really learned about network marketing, if you're here to be a professional network marketer like I am, is I'm here to be accessible. I'm here to be a safe and comfortable place for anybody who's looking to build wealth and build health and help others do the same. That's it. That's what I'm here for. So I am not going to create division or, reduce my inclusion or I'm trying, right? Like I'm learning that there are things that, so to the best of my knowledge, I'm trying to be that place where anyone can come and feel comfortable. Now, some people might not be attracted to my vibe. That's fine. And I'm not gonna like change who I am to try to please everyone. That's not a possible thing. But what I am saying is when I am aware that a concept is controversial, is divisive, can be offensive, can cause exclusion, I am choosing not to put that on my social media or bring that into trainings or into my team culture because, and I heard Leslie Zan say this on a call and it just really resonated for me. She said, do you want everyone in your downline to think like you? Number one, no, I do not want to be that monoculture. Number two, that does not sound very lucrative. Like if you are trying to build a 6 or 7 figure, multiple 6, 7 figure income, you are not going to do it having an organization of people who only think like you. It's just not a possible thing that I know of. Like, I don't think so. I don't know. And when I look at network marketing, I do not see people, if you choose to like be a very vocal advocate for a certain viewpoint, a political viewpoint or social or whatever, you may have to be choosing that over being a top earning professional network marketer. And that's up to you to decide which one is it. But I haven't seen somebody who has both necessarily. I haven't actually. It could be, so show me if you find that, but I have not seen it. And because my why is big enough, I'm choosing to follow Success Leaves Clues, that model of, I have opinions, believe me, and they probably come out subtly. And I share them in the private groups or the arenas where that is the focus, or on individual conversations, and people who know me know my opinions. But it doesn't become my brand. Does that make sense? Drop a 1 if that's, it's an interesting perspective. And, a lot of people have different opinions on it, but I'm sharing what resonates for me. Okay, I didn't even plan to train on that, but there it came out. So, okay, this always happens. I never get to everything. Same thing with connect call etiquette. When you are connecting to people on a connect call, you're introducing your upline and your downline, and you're really speaking to the person. You're not going to speak in the third person. When you're telling your upline about your prospect, you're not going to be like, yeah, she's really cool. I mean, she's right there on the phone, So, hey, again, like, hey, Angela, I am so excited to introduce you to Catherine. Like, you are, and then you're just going to top just nothing more than 3 things you appreciate them at the most, and let it come from your heart. You don't need to go into a whole saga of how you met and how you know each other and like everything about their bio. That's not the point. The point is just to elevate the mood a little bit and have like something that the upline can grab hold of that gives some sort of like, identity with each other. But it's not like this, don't take minutes. Like it should be brief, uplifting, come from the heart. At most 3 things. If the upline is a top earner in the company, say they're a top earner. That's significant. And everything else is just something brief that comes from your heart of why you're inspired to connect them. That's it. Okay. Great. Next is, I was going to do a segment on inviting language for launch calls. So just write down if you haven't already heard that, it has been done in previous replay. I believe it was Mary Beth. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's in the replays of like inviting language to a launch call. And otherwise, you know, having an upline come on and share that. It's really great to hear people say it over and over to help people invite to a launch call. So in our last 15 minutes, we're going to get into storytelling, packaging stories, because as I said before, when you know your story with fluency, with when you've repeated it so many times that it just flows off your tongue, it is so easy to prospect, period. That's it. Stories compel people to learn more. Stories drive people to take action. They are everything. If you don't already identify yourself as a storyteller in this business, it's time to become one. And if you are not comfortable with your storytelling skills, then just work on them, right? We work on anything we're not that great at yet, you know, and we become better. So I had selected somebody to be my experimental story packaging, and she's unfortunately so sad, didn't make it on the call during the whole Zoom and saying it's invalid. Such a bummer. So let me just, oh, a bunch of people had issues with it. I'm seeing that now. All right, I'm gonna send her the link and just see what happens. But in the meantime, is Alea on here? Because I might just have you be my example and she'll have to catch the replay.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm right here.
Yeah. Let's see what happens if I can. Okay, multitasking, here we go. All right, so we're gonna go, I'm gonna actually take notes on what you say. So we're gonna do, thanks for being my example here, Alea, and we are going to do the first part of your story, which is, what were you doing before Purium? Not like your whole life, not your whole bio, but just what were you doing right before you came across Purium and enrolled as a brand partner?
Before Purium, I was a mom and taking care of my son, taking him to the park regularly. I saw you there and you told me about Purium, and I actually had heard about it before and signed up for it as a brand partner before and returned it from a friend on Kauai. And so it was not off my radar, it was on my radar already. And I have been working on my health really hard for, oh gosh, 15 years before that, looking for answers.
Okay, beautiful. And what were you doing to support yourself financially before? Which might be still what you're doing now.
Financially, I had a husband at that point, so that was definitely helpful. And I had my jewelry business, so I made yoga themed jewelry and sold it at a couple local stores on the island here. And also, I think I taught yoga at that point a little bit here and there, and probably had one other part-time job. I usually have about 5 jobs at a time. That's just how I roll. So
beautiful. Okay, drop a 3 in the comments if you have like the multiple side hustle gig, the like potpourri of side hustles. Alea wears so many hats, I can't even keep up. It's amazing. Okay, so massage and yoga and jewelry and mom, and right. So part of your story is, I worked multiple gigs to make ends meet, right? So yeah, all the jobs. So now, and it's a little hard when you have a ton because for the story, but pointing out, you know, kind of listing a few of them and saying, you know, this is my package of multiple side gigs. And now you're going to tell us, what did you love about it? Obviously you're an entrepreneur because they were all your own businesses. Tell us what you loved about it or love about it.
oh, I continue to love all these things that I do because they're passions of mine. I've been making jewelry since I was 13. I love giving gifts. I love beautiful gemstones. I love giving people healing touch and massage. It's a beautiful way of expressing my sensuality and love for people. And I love making people food. I do catering and private chefing, and that's a huge part of my own healing and sharing that knowledge with people about healing foods and diets. And every part of it is woven into who I am and what's made me feel successful and abundant and wealthy.
Beautiful. All right. So, all right. And I imagine like there was some aspect of it where you also appreciated like being able to set your own hours and, you know, create the time to be with your son and
Absolutely.
the flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, flexibility and really just being able to express myself in a much fuller way than working for someone else. I also teach circus arts and being able and surfing lessons, and I do what my dreams are all of the time. And Pirium is just another avenue for my dreams.
Well, no, we'll get to Pirium.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the key to like the architecture of stories, is just following these. And I'm gonna give you back your story once I get compile all your information. So we have, what were you doing to support yourself financially before Pirium, and what you loved about it. Now tell me, before we get to Pirium, what was challenging about it? What didn't you love? What were its limitations?
So the main limitations that I experienced were the time for money ratio and being able to make as much money as I wanted to in the amount of time that I wanted to. That was a challenge up until recently. Yeah.
Perfect. So, you know, whether it's, some people call it like the dollar per hour model, or that idea that you're like trading your time for money, and it was never enough, probably. I mean, that's how it is for most people who are trading their time for money. And I'm guessing that part of that is that you have a why that's bigger than what your income was, right? Like not being able to see that ability to go where you want to go. So, so if you want to say anything
Just
about
not
that now,
just not as fast as I want to go.
not as fast.
It's not about not being able to go where I want to go. I've always gone where I wanted to go. It's just not as fast as I want to go. And that's been a big life lesson as well. You know, just patience and dedication and commitment, all of those things.
Okay.
I'm grateful for that.
Beautiful. Okay, great. And now we get to, and what have you found with Purium? What are you able to, what are you seeing for your future, and what are you able to create now that you've found the Purium economy? Oops, you're on mute, Alea.
Sorry, someone tried to call me in that moment.
No
Must have been an important moment. So now with Purium, I'm able to see the kind of income that would normally take me hours of driving and going somewhere and doing invoicing and all these activities that took a lot more effort physically, mentally, and emotionally for me to create that same level of income, a lot more effortlessly in terms of my physical, energy, mental energy, and not as much time yet, but I can see with any business, there's a time investment in the beginning that is always greater, that builds momentum in the business. And so that's where I'm at with it. And I see that clearly.
Beautiful. So Alea has reached consultant last month, and that's where she's at in her journey, for those of you who are like, where's Alea at in her journey? So perfect. And this is also a great place to say what your why is and what you're able to create now that you have found this kind of leverage that allows you to make more with the time you are putting in. Where do you see yourself going with that?
Wow. That's probably the biggest one, to try to consolidate into a smaller amount of time. So like you, we have a farm here. My boyfriend and his mother have a lease land farm, and we want to spend way more time on it and being able to grow our own food for our family, our extended family and friends, and also my catering and private chefing company, as well as my friend Jasmine's catering and private chefing company, and Anon, who maybe many of you've met from the retreat, weaving that piece in for food sustainability. And then beyond that, what creates food sustainability is watershed sustainability and forests and reforestation. And that's what my boyfriend is all about with his job right now. And it's a really big vision. And I'm meeting people on a daily basis that are on board with this vision for our area here locally in Hamakua, and creating solutions for soil remediation. And like, there are incredible things coming forth, and the money that it's going to take for us to make this a reality is the only thing right now that I can see that's stopping it from being a huge living ahupua'a land division, system that used to exist in ancient Hawaii, that we can recreate here in our district and potentially in the entire state and around the world as a result of a global example here. And that's really, really big vision.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to take all of Alea's raw data of her story components, and I'm going to tell her story back to her packaged. And I call this story, well, I mean, this one is pretty smooth. Sometimes, and myself included, will come and our story is like, and then we'll like add, like, we just add so much in, and we're not sure like what part of the story is relevant to people. And the key is to keep it so concise that you're steering your people right where you want them to go. You don't want to like have these tendrils that get them lost thinking about like these details, or like, down like in these depths of compassion for your journey, or like, you just want to take them right to the place where they're like, oh, wow, I can really relate to that because of this part of my story. And if that was your solution, I should probably take a closer look at what you have, because that could be my solution too, right? That's the thought we want people to have when they hear our story. So here we go in 1 minute. So Alea was a mom. She had multiple side hustles. They were all things she was passionate about. She was a surf instructor, a yoga instructor, jewelry maker, healing touch massage therapist, acrobatic teacher, circus arts teacher. And Alea loved everything she did. It was all her passion. It was brought her joy to give to people, to bring healing to people, to connect, to be doing the things she loves, to have the flexibility of setting her own hours and working for herself. She loved that autonomy, having the freedom to be with her son when she carved out that time, and even including him in some of these streams of income. I just added that in. However, and I guess I'll say it in the first person, what was challenging was that primarily for the amount of time I was putting into this, I wasn't able to get ahead to where I wanted to be as quickly as I wanted to be. I had to put a lot of time into driving, invoicing. There was a lot of effort going into managing multiple streams of income and handling many relationships with all of these. I just added that in too. You can take it or leave it. But then my friend introduced me, and I had been hearing about and finally made the decision to join the Purium economy. And by leveraging the time that I am putting into building this, I'm now seeing how much more return I can get on that time investment. I'm seeing that by putting my time into networking, which I'm so good at. LA is an amazing networker. Putting my time into my relationships and building connections and telling stories, I have now the ability to grow an unlimited residual income stream. And that is giving me so much hope and joy when I look at the things that I'm really here to do, which is to build these sustainable watersheds and soil remediation and these projects that take a lot of capital to really see come to fruition. So I'm super excited that I found this stream of income, and I love sharing it. So that's basically a package story. Alea can check out this recording and take notes and kind of get that down, and then you just practice it. So you can get with your upline, you can package your story, and you just get it down. Like, you might do it as a story slide. You might just tell your story like, hey, hey, I have a bunch of new followers here, or maybe you don't, but you just, I just want to tell you guys my story. And you just have your 2-minute story. You might do it as a live. You might do it as, you might be interviewed on somebody else's wall. You might be coming on, different trainings and being featured. And you might just bump into people and be like, it just rolls off your tongue so naturally when you know it and you have your story down fluent. So story packaging is epic. We are storytellers. I hope this call has been great for you. I know we went a couple of minutes over, but thank you all for being here. The replay will be available in the replay section. And yeah, I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Drop some takeaways in the comments. Let's see what stood out for you as we wrap this up.